that Rome was built not in one day. Similarly, extension was not masterminded by an individual. Rather, it is a collective effort through hard work of a group of professionals across the world over more than a century. The history of agricultural extension is intimately related to the development in technology. The need for extension was felt in Europe and Northern America during the 18th century in the wake of industrial development. The roots of extension education, however, can be traced back to 1840s when the term university extension was first used in Britain to take the knowledge to doorsteps of the common people. The first practical steps were taken in 1867-68 time where James Stott, fellow of Trinity College, London, gave lectures to women associations and working women groups and clubs. Hence, he is regarded as the father of university extension. With this introduction, let us have a detailed look into extension education. So, in this video, I will be discussing about the concept of extension education, definition, meaning, need, principles, and philosophy of extension. As I said earlier, extension was came out as a branch of university, was emerged as a branch of university in the United States of America, 1940s. Extension is derived from the Latin words ex means out and tensio means stretching. This extension means to stretch out the knowledge to the people or the community who need it. Dr. J.P. Liggins was considered as the father of global extension, and Dr. K.N. Singh is considered as the father of extension in India. Extension education thus can be called as a lab to land program. It is an out of school system of education through which the adult and young learn by doing. It is a program for helping the village people for improving their daily living. Nowadays it is not only focusing on the village people but to all the people who are under the unreached population, who all are deprived of the basic needs. All the people, whether regardless of whether it be in an urban area or a rural area or a semi-urban area or a tribal area or in a slum. So it is a process for helping the people who are marginalized or who are considered as aloof from the mainstream of the population or the people who are unreached. So the program focuses on improving their daily life. It is the dissemination of knowledge, scientific dissemination of knowledge to the people. For example, it can be any knowledge related to family living or improving their livelihood or nutrition education or anything. Thus, extension education can be described as the process of reaching the unreached population. Let us discuss about the objectives of extension education in detail. If you look into the pictures given here, you can see very clearly that all the pictures have one thing in common: the people. Yes, the fundamental objective of extension is destination of mankind or the development of the people. So, the objective of extension is to bring about desirable changes in the social, economic, intellectual, spiritual, recreational activities of the people, to open up new opportunities and ventures for the people for improving their livelihood, also to help them to improve their talents and leadership qualities. It also builds the people who are proud of their occupation, independent and constructive in their outlook, to be capable, efficient and self-reliant. It also helps the people to understand their basic needs and the rights. So in short, extension is the development of mankind or the destination of mankind. It motivates people to adopt innovations. As we know, innovations is finding out something from nothing. People are encouraged to adopt new technologies. The people are educated to adopt improved technologies which are being developed in the centers of higher education or even the research stations that has to be reached to the people. There is a wide gap between the common man or the common people at the grassroots level and the findings at the research centers. So, this gap has to be built by the so called extension education, and that is why it is regarded as the mother of science. Now, what about the need for extension? As I said earlier, if you look into these pictures again, you can see that one part on one side of the coin, you can see that lot of research is happening, whether it be in the field of agriculture, climate change, farming, agricultural production, whatever be that, food, crops, agriculture, which are the basic necessities of the people to meet their food, clothing, and shelter. Lot of research is happening in terms of appropriate or alternative technologies, even energy, but only a few is reaching to the common people. So there is a big gap between the findings and the common man and their problems. Again, the same thing is with anything. So the need for extension arises out of the fact that the quality of the life of the people has to be improved. The people should be made aware of the innovations, the need regarding, or the people should be made aware of what is and what ought to be, what is their present situation and what is their desirable situation. People has to be educated about the new innovations or the improved technologies which can definitely improve their quality of life. There are a lot of adaptive technologies which are available to them. They need not have to go anywhere to get a modern technology or the so called sophisticated technology. They can always rely on their own natural resources or raw materials to adapt something. So, the need for extension helps in studying and solving the problems. It helps not only to identify the problem but also help the people to motivate themselves through the process of self help and mutual help. Extension education aims at bringing desirable changes in the people in terms of attitude, knowledge, understanding, belief, skills, and whatnot. So, it helps the people by assisting to discover and analyze their own problem, to understand their own potential, identifying their needs, and taking appropriate decisions. So, whatever is happening can be made alert. For example, take the case of India itself. We have n number of rural development or community development programs that is being announced by the central and the state governments day by day. How many of you are aware of at least 5 programs which could be benefited for you? No, we are not aware. How many of you are aware about your legal rights as a woman, as a gender? No, we are not much aware about. Maybe we have heard many things, we have come across many things, but when a situation arises for us in personal, we are not in a situation to understand, or we are not in a situation like whom to approach and how to approach. So these gaps widens the divide between the societies. So that gap has to be filled by a process which is known as extension education. As I said earlier, needs can be of basically two types: felt needs and unfelt needs. Felt needs are those needs which you are aware of, or the recognized needs. And unfelt needs are the unaware needs. Those are the needs which you are not aware about, and for that you need to pay a greater amount for that. So When you take the example of a marginalized population, that is a group of population who are aloof from the mainstream of the society, who are deprived of many things, and so because of that there is a divide between them and the general society. So majority of such people possess lot of unfelt needs. So you need to have somebody to motivate them, to make them understand their needs and to realize them and to recognize them. And in order to bridge that gap between unfelt need and felt need, here comes the work or the role of the extension education process or the extension work. And the person who is in charge of that particular activity was earlier termed as extension agent, and now it is called as extensionist. So the need for extension, it motivates people to adopt innovations, assisting people to discover and analyze their problems, identifying their needs and taking appropriate decision, improving the standard of living of the rural or the marginalized, to help them to use affordable technology that are cost effective. And what happens ultimately? See, the positive thinking, the sense of belongingness emerges, self help and mutual help happens. They identify the problems together, they find out and they pool their resources, they learn by doing. There is so some sort of volunteerism happens, and all these brings confidence, positivity, and self help among the people. So, this, if you continue on a sustainable basis, will bring lot of behavioral changes among the population. Now coming to the philosophy of extension, as I said earlier, the objective of extension is development of mankind or destination of mankind. It helps people to help themselves, that is what I call self help, and also to help others, mutual help, understand their potential and resources. You need not have to go anywhere to find out a solution to a problem that you are facing. There are resources within your limits. The only thing is you have to identify them at the right time. So, teaching people how to think instead of what to think is very important and critical when it comes to extension. It intends to produce desirable changes in the behavior of the people. Yes, and it can be change in knowledge, skills, understanding, attitude, beliefs, as I said earlier. So, in short, we can call extension as an educational process. It is teaching people what to want and ways to satisfy their wants. It is helping people to help themselves. It is learning by doing, and seeing is believing, because at that time you are using your maximum number of senses, and that will help you to retain whatever you learned for a longer period of time. So extension is development of individual, their leaders, their society and their world as a whole. It is working together to expand the welfare and happiness of the people. Ultimately, what you need at the end of the day is peace and happiness and harmony. It is working in harmony with the culture of the people. There should not be any cultural differences between the extension worker and the common people. It should be align with each other. Extension is living relationship, respect, and trust for each other. It is obviously a two-way channel. It is a continuous educational process. So, with this, let me conclude extension as an educational process which is aiming at bringing desirable changes in the attitude, understanding, belief of the people, of the common man who are in real need of finding solutions to their own problems. It is the scientific dissemination of knowledge, a lab to land program in approach. Thank you.